My name is Jonas, and today we'll be discussing the value of soft skills as a developer. Now, I know a lot of you are probably internally rolling your eyes at me, but just bear with me. I promise it's going to make more sense. But before we dive into that, I'd like to tell you just a little bit about myself, and I'd like to use this as a humbling moment for myself as well. So, I am a former IT recruiter, and the time that I spent as a recruiter actually inspired me to become a developer. So last year, I ended up graduating from OK Coders Bootcamp as a part of their 2022 cohort. And just recently, I got my first dev job back in January, but unfortunately, I was affected by layoffs. So I'm currently unemployed. I'm in the market for any opportunities that are available more along the front ends involving React and some fun styling markup languages. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, you might be wondering, why would I take advice from a guy who's unemployed? Well, I've had a lot of downtime on my hands. It's allowed me to do a lot of research and that kind of inspired me just to want to give back to the community on some of the findings that I've had since the time I was laid off until now. So this is something I love to tell myself all the time. This is from the film Black Hat, directed by Michael Mann. Big film guy, if you couldn't tell. But anytime I'm just kind of grinding through a task, I always tell myself, I'm doing the time isn't doing me. So how am I going to spend that time? How do I keep busy? It's by building projects, getting out and linking with the community like we're all doing now, and also crying through the constant pain of rejection. So it's a lot of good things going on for me. And it's okay, you guys are allowed to laugh. So just to kind of get back on point now, you're probably asking yourself, why should I care about soft skills? Well, often in times, a lot of people struggle to communicate with developers. That may come as a shock to many of you, but we're not necessarily known as the most talkative bunch. Often in times, I've had conversations with people higher up in leadership at companies, clients from the time I was a recruiter, and they would often refer to the ability to communicate for a developer as a superpower. So one good thing that I always like to tell people about their soft skills and why you should care about those is because progressing in your career requires more than writing just great code. So you're probably asking yourself, what are some of the soft skills I could benefit from? So today I'll only be discussing 3, but believe me, there's plenty out there that can kind of help you along your journey. The first one being clear communication, second, collaboration, and third, probably the most difficult, self-marketing. So here are some of just a couple of the benefits of clear communication. Now, I'd like to preface this by saying you do not have to speak frequently. I'm not asking you all to do the whole water cooler talk and nudge elbows and be overly friendly with your coworkers outside of your dev team, but really just in those moments when it matters. Whether it's your, hopefully not daily, but weekly stand-up meetings with your dev team, those really fun monthly meetings with everyone in your company, or the one-on-ones that you get with your managers. Those are the times that you really want to lean in on communication because those are the most important moments. Now, one of the many benefits of clear communication, or just a handful of them, are overall, it leads to a better understanding of things. Obviously, it helps make problem solving more effective, which then in turn just leads to overall success of whatever project you're involved in. And one thing that I always like to remind people of is, even though we work behind a keyboard and usually don't have any interaction with anyone day to day, people are still at the core of what we do. So we build products for people. We build those products alongside other people. That, in a funny way, is me telling you, talk to people. It's only going to benefit you. And my next point being, collaboration is also a great soft skill. What are some of the benefits that you can see from collaborating with people overall? And you might be asking yourself, why does that even matter? But from the outside looking in, one big observation I made throughout my time as a recruiter is many developers are very, very proud of their work, and rightfully so. it's a really difficult job to do, and the majority of the work you're doing on your own. But by kind of letting your guard down and allowing yourself to collaborate with others, only good things are going to come of that. So obviously, it improves overall productivity as a whole. It fosters a sense of unity, which I don't know about you, but whenever I'm building projects and working on code and whatnot, I kind of need that to keep me going. And as a result of those things, it not only benefits you, but also your team and organization. You can't build everything on your own. So opening up and collaborating is going to allow your team members to get in and contribute as well, which then leads into better results for your company, organization, your own startup, all that fun stuff as a whole. And then my final point being, when it comes to soft skills, self-marketing. This one is really, really, really tough because, again, you're putting yourself out there. You're getting out of your comfort zone, which is something that not everyone in this industry is necessarily comfortable with. And I'd like to just preface this point by saying great code isn't enough. I'm going to repeat that. Great code isn't enough. And that sounds insane because it's hard to crank out just good code for some of us. But you cannot lean on those skills solely. It can get you far, but not as far as opening up to self-marketing could help you. But yeah, great code isn't enough. You need to brag about it. Not everyone outside of your team is aware of the contributions, the things that you're building, and the projects that you're assisting on. So people need to know the value that you bring to the table outside of your team. Whether it's people within your company, whether it's bragging about something you did via LinkedIn or on Slack, it's not a bad thing to kind of punch yourself up and flex those skills that you have. And it kind of lies on you to educate those around you about your contributions. So even though this one is definitely one of the tougher, for lack of a better term, soft skills, it's probably the one that would benefit you the most. So, I think I skipped one. Oh, no, that's it. And that just about wraps up everything I had to say. This was actually inspired by an episode of the Stack Overflow podcast entitled Great Code Isn't Enough. Developers need to brag about it. A little on the nose there. But that was presented by Dagna Bida. And if you like what I had to say, I would highly encourage you to check out her content at themindfuldev.com. And again, I'd just like to thank you all for being here today, and to the good folks at Clever. If you folks are interested in connecting with me, feel free to reach out, or you could even say hi. Thank you so much.